Hey, this episode was filmed during the COVID pandemic, so for the safety of our cast, everyone is seated 6 feet apart. Also, this series is for information and entertainment purposes only. It isn't intended to be a substitute for professional medical advice, diagnosis, or treatment, so don't delay or disregard professional medical advice based on the information provided. And, as always, if this is a medical emergency, dial 911.
Welcome to Going to Health.
For people, from people.
So this one time,
Oh, I'm gonna go get some tasty waves, bro.
how can we avoid some of these injuries?
Most of the time it's common sense, and I think breaks from long-term activities to minimize the effects of repetitive stress injuries. Carpal tunnel syndrome can be prevented by breaks, and ergonomic setups are important.
So you know I'm going to ask you, Dr. Downer, what was that? Quiver what?
The Quervain's tenosynovitis.
Quivering? Quivering from what?
Quivering, yes. That's a new one. That's the tendonitis at the base of the thumb that a lot of the gamers, I think, are
Was that named after some doctor or someone?
Yeah, most of the names they're called eponyms.
Okay.
So when you have something that's named after someone, and there's a lot of that in medicine.
All right.
Yeah.
So yours is coming up next.
Nah.
Yeah.
So when you said ergonomically, so with carpal tunnel syndrome, what can you do to lessen your risk of getting that?
I think proper posture of the wrists and hands, and sleeping with your wrist in a neutral position can help. Sleeping with the wrist in a flexed position or the elbows in a flexed position. Those positions, those flexed positions, put a lot of tension on the nerves in the wrists and the elbows.
I would have never thought of that.
And I've had my brush with nerve problems in my elbows, and so
Okay.
I haven't needed any braces or injections or surgeries, and I just have tried to sleep in the position of least provocation.
Okay.
So you're a very specialized surgeon, right? You're very specialized in hand.
very special.
You are very
I was thinking.
You are very
Dr.
special.
Downing, you're very special in many ways. But most importantly, in your training for hand surgery. And why is it so important to go to a hand specialist when your hand is hurt versus any other doctor that says they can operate on your hand?
I think there's more broad recognition of the myriad of afflictions that people can have within their hands and wrists and forearms and elbows and arms and shoulders. And this is kind of a kinetic chain. It's all tightly linked together, and sometimes you'll have a problem in your hand and it's actually your neck, or you'll have a problem in your elbow and it's actually your shoulder. And so looking for hand surgeons on the American Society for Surgery of the Hand website, looking to my website, Upper Extremity Specialists with an S at the end, upperextremityspecialists.com. You can find doctors in your area as well as locally, like myself, that can.
So that's how we find you. And I was going to ask that question. Like, we want to go to the go-to doctor, hand specialist. It's that website.
Yeah, and that broadcast that I cover the entire upper extremity.
Okay.
So upperextremityspecialists.com.
So do any of these injuries lead to arthritis?
Some, and there's also potentially a genetic component for some types of arthritis. And so if you're doing heavy activity for long periods of time, just like any finely tuned machine, the parts wear out. And so degenerative conditions describe the wear and tear and loss of function over the lifetime of an individual. But it's a pretty amazing machine we all have. It lasts decades, and for the most part. And it depends on what type of exposures you're having. And so if you're doing construction as a full-time job for your entire life, you're going to bang your body up. And so I see retirees from construction who need shoulder replacements and thumb arthritis related reconstructions.
How about surgeons? Do you see a lot of surgeons?
There's a lot of occupational hazards within orthopedic surgery. Cervical spine or neck arthritis, pinched nerves in the neck from just crouched postures, bad ergonomics, carpal tunnel syndrome. I've operated on a few surgeons who have had carpal tunnel syndrome.
Nurses and tech.
I see lots of nurses. I see lots of school teachers.
I can imagine, yeah.
So yeah, I take care of a lot of people who have their own sets of occupational hazards that predispose them to certain conditions. A lot of weekend warriors and overhead athletes who have tendon problems, like the rotator cuff might be torn in their shoulder, that we can repair arthroscopically, like you mentioned previously.
Yeah, my brother-in-law actually was out in the desert riding his dirt bike, and he broke both of his thumbs. So he was out of commission, only had these 4 fingers and a cast for like 2 months.
Yeah, that
Oh,
generated
my
lots
goodness.
of conversations.
That was like, my sister's like, and I just got married to him. We're getting real close now.
Yeah. You know, I joke about it with my patients because I have patients that come to me with bilateral upper extremity problems. But bathroom care is a real chore if you've got both upper limbs out of commission. So I either find someone who loves you very much, or have the person you're in love with love you more, or get a bidet.
That's true.
Because bathroom care is something my patients talk to me about, and they wonder, how am I going to care for myself?
Well, you really don't know what you have till it's gone.
Right.
That's
I've
true.
witnessed it on multiple accounts.
Yeah.
Our hands are really amazing things, and we're really glad that we have people like you that specialize in them.
They say the road to hell is paved with good intentions. We believe the road to health is paved with good information. Thank you for joining us on this quest to prevent modern injuries. We'll see you next time on the road.